What's up guys and girls, welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of a God of War remake. Now, up to this point, I was just asking for a remaster of the entire series. Bring all the old Greek games to PS5, as they are all trapped on old consoles or PlayStation's live streaming service. We deserve to play these games natively on modern consoles. However, they might be teasing a God of War remake series. Before Valhalla, I would have never thought this was going to happen. But they brought back so many things, so many references, a lot of the old enemies, all with some unique animations and properties that the old enemies had in the Greek games. Let's go through all of the references in the old games that made an appearance in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. First up, we have Harpies. Harpies were included in almost every single one of the Greek God of War games. Just like the previous games, they die in one grab and have an attack that comes down from the top of the screen. Next, we have the normal enemies that are the followers of Ares. These were the very first enemies you fought in the entire God of War series, and the first enemies from the Greek games to make an appearance in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Really cool. Minotaurs were also brought back. These enemies are just as aggressive as the old games. Of course, there was the Cyclops, probably one of the most recognizable enemies from the old games. If I had $1 for every single time I pulled one of their eyes out, I'd be a very rich man. Wraiths also made an appearance. In the old games, this enemy went into the floor and attacked from below. The same attack can be seen in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Next up is Sirens. Sirens are probably the most annoying enemies in God of War 1. They appeared in the desert level of God of War 1, which was a really cool thing back then, but man were they hard to kill. Centaurs were also brought back, and they also had similar attacks from the Greek games. And of course, these golden warriors. In the old games, they couldn't be launched, and you have to do a lot of damage to them before they actually start to stagger. An extremely annoying enemy, but they also made an appearance in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Now let's talk about the environments. Some of the environments are also in the OG games. That scene in the old games where Kratos had to burn someone in a cage to get past, yeah, that obviously made an appearance, but the sea level and the desert level from God of War 1 also made an appearance here. And of course, the God of War 2 throne, young Kratos in a cutscene doing the signature pose when he became the God of War. All of these references took a lot of work, and some of these enemies have their own unique animations that's supposed to mirror the original games. They can use assets from this DLC and the God of War Remake series. Everything else they can craft and change as they please, just like the soldier being burned. In the original games, it was kind of like a hill. You had to push this soldier up. In this game, they completely took that out. I guess, because it was really annoying, and also they don't have like a lot of moments where Kratos is pushing boxes in Ragnarok in 2018 actually. So that's probably why they took out that little shit. But I still think that it's really, really cool. They can change things as they please. They don't have to keep everything exactly like the old games, but I do think that it's really incredible. My favorite remake series is what Capcom does with the Resident Evil series. They add new story elements to their remakes, and it's a pretty cool way to see, like a modern day version of that game. And I'm not gonna lie, part of me actually wants that for God of War. If they end up remaking the game, let's go ahead and put some new content in there. It doesn't have to be beat by beat remake potential for, God of War 1 or whatever God of War game decides to remake. I think that they should add some story elements, some new properties, maybe some new gods, really show off the new engine. Now, I posted on Twitter, like, what do you prefer? The Kratos with the beard, or the old school Kratos, the OG? And a lot of people said the bearded Kratos is better. And a lot of the criticisms I saw for the OG Kratos is that his neck is kind of bulky. He seems pretty jarring when you see the character skin in God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, and it is pretty jarring, and it does need some improvements. But I think in terms of facial movements, how the character acts, it's really, really cool to see like his mouth and all of the details that the beard covered up. But this is my thoughts on the remake that I hope is happening. I'm really excited to play it if it is a thing. Again, if it's just, we're going to bring these old games back as a remaster, that's fine with me too. But man, I really cannot stop talking or thinking about, a potential remake for God of War. Like, I would love to absolutely see that. But that's my time. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces.